Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, and back for another Marvel Strike Force video. Now, I do want to thank everyone who did send their best wishes to me over the things that have been happening over the last handful of days. Those things are still not completely resolved as of yet, so videos may be a bit slower than they usually are, but I think you guys know that at this point. Today, I want to do a bit of a video of it's not a recap, but, there's some things that I just noticed. I know from my blog reading on Friday, I know that I do skim from time to time, and there's some specific words in there that really kind of jumped out at me as soon as it was, made to my attention and I actually paid attention to it. I want to go over some of these things and I want to talk about it. Yes, I realize some of this was pretty vague, and that's just so that you guys will watch the rest of the video. So I hope you'll stay with me. Oh, sorry. I have a bit of a cough now. But you know what to do, everybody, so let's boil this down. God, that was a bad time to have a cough. Okay, my apologies, everyone. I should have edited that out, but we're keeping it in, so my bad. So, from Friday's blog post, though, there was some statements regarding, oh, that's interesting. I didn't even know this. Okay, I don't know what this is about. I'll have to check back my numbers again before next week. Some things related to the announcement of Gwenpool, but also, this team in general and what they're meant to do. When I read through this, I, skimmed this a little bit, and we know that this is a Cosmic Crucible team. That Gwenpool is the 5th member alongside Firestar, who is not quite out yet, but she'll be released on Friday, or at least her offers will be. And if you do want to buy her with 675 Power Core orbs. But it's a statement that was made in the second half that I found to be quite interesting. Now, they talk about how Masters of Evil were like, the best way to clear a Wakandan's team. Now, we know now that the Masters of Evil really, for the most part, can clear everything on, as far as I'm aware anyways, clears pretty much everything in Crucible outside of the Tangled Web Eternals. Now, what I don't like about this statement, it says the new Warriors' combined skills make them the perfect squad to take down the lethal Tangled Web Eternals combo, who combined with the Room 5 rules have been the cause of nightmares. This is what upsets me. Have been the cause of nightmares. So they themselves have acknowledged that this has been a huge pain point in the community over the changing of the rules to include the Eternals. And I think it was really just super dumb, for lack of better words, the way that they did this, because, it was a completely separate team that they just melded together. They merged together to make this really frustrating set of buffs and stuff that they have to make them super crazy powerful that even the Masters of Evil could not actually take out as their Apex Crucible offense team. But the reason why this kind of pisses me off a little bit is because this is just the current season. So, and this adds some more questions about the viability of the new Warriors going forward. So, are the new Warriors, new Warriors, whatever, are they an Apex Crucible team? Or are they just a singular team designed in full just to counter these guys? Are they going to be better than Masters of Evil? Are they going to, more broadly, are they going to be better than Masters of Evil? Or are they going to be less Apex than Masters of Evil? And the reason why this question is important is because for those of you who may not have leveled up Cloak and Dagger, or maybe Deathpool, or whatever, like for me as a veteran player, I have those 3 characters at, gear tier 15 and above. But there are many players who may not. And so this represents actually for some people a brand new team of 5 characters in some ways, that they'll have to bring up, or 4 or 5 characters, or 3 to 5 characters, however many, right? Plus the new ones, the new ones. And so that could be a lot of investment for a team that is only described to currently just counter this temporary team. And I have to stress that this very much could be a temporary combo, And same with the Wakandans, because we don't know what's going to happen to... I mean, we know Masters of Evil is broadly, better, and they can do more than just the Wakandan team, so I'm not really that concerned about that. But these buffs to the Wakandan teams are temporary. with that room 6. Is that going to stay forever? No, of course not, because they're just going to be rotating in other ways or other reworks. There could be a potential Guardians of the Galaxy rework for next patch, which is just like a week or so away. And so that could be a new, replacement to Wakandans in room 6, but just a new rework team. That seems to be the formula that they're running. They're basically taking rooms 5 and 6, in maybe other rooms, and they're just planting it with their latest teams and reworks and things like that, So it does say here, though, that they will be a strong Cosmic Crucible team away from Room 5, but how good is that? Are they on the level of Masters of Evil? Are they better than Masters of Evil? Part of me thinks they won't be, so are we really just doing this for a temporary frustration? And that's what we need to talk about. So I want to jump into Cosmic Crucible. Well, I want to kind of, go over this a little bit. And so how much time do we have left? I don't know where I find that. Is that... No, not in the rankings. Leaderboard. We have 12 days left in this current season of Cosmic Crucible. So what does that mean? What does this mean in terms of the grand scheme of things related to the room rules? And that's what I want to know. So if there's only 12 days, which means this Crucible and the next week of Crucible, which is strange because Firestar is just coming out, and Gwenpool, as far as I'm aware, unless she's the first character of the new patch, will only have just come out. As of... I'm expecting the patch to be on... Just looking at my calendar, I'm probably looking at the patch for May the 2nd. May 2nd, May 3rd, on that Tuesday and Wednesday. So, almost 9 days from now. 9-10 days from now. So, it's possible that Gwenpool and Firestar will be available for people who bought them, before the season ends. But are we keeping the same rules? Does this mean that Tangled Web Eternals are going to return in some way? That these room rules for the Tangled Web Eternals, where we treat the Eternals as Tangled Web, is that going to be the case? Is that still going to be a room in one of these 6 rooms going into the next season? I sure effing hope not. I'm trying not to swear. I really hope not. What I'm expecting here on the Wakandan room is that this is going to turn into probably like the Guardians room. I just have this weird feeling that, or is it the Nowhere team? Or, whatever. I don't know if we have... Are they a war team? I don't even know. Let me know in the comments down below. Did they actually tell us what value we were getting out of this new Nowhere team? I don't know if they said what game mode it is. If I just... because I've been, completely all over the place lately. Let me know in the comments down below if they actually confirmed that, about, where they would be. But otherwise, it makes me suggest that this Room 6 is going to be a rotating room of rework teams or of a new team, where you just stick them on defense and let them fly. Because the Wakandans really are not that good without these buffs. They're not as good as they are right now. The stats are huge. You get 60%, but it's not just that. It's the buffs, revive once, the speed mechanics are huge. All of these other stuffs. There's so many things here for the Wakandans that, in fact, that I think this room was buffed twice, wasn't it? It was, because they weren't good enough to defeat Darkhold, and then they had to buff it again to make it harder for Darkhold to actually win against this. So it's just absolutely nuts that they did these things, and I just think it's crazy, frankly. So that's kind of what we're to be expecting. But are we going to get is this going to stay into next season? I just really hope not. And that's what Cosmic Crucible has slowly become. It's not really, it's not as much of a game mode for theory crafting as such as it's a game mode where you buy the latest team to counter the latest frustration. Because the fact that they've acknowledged that it is a nightmare, and I've never heard them use this term before, or even use this set of words before together, have been the cause of nightmares. It means that they understand that this is just so frustrating for the community that for the most part, we don't like this. Is it, impossible to beat? No, of course not. You can... Why do I have this on defense? Because I don't care. I really don't care anymore. And so I don't care about, having them on offense to beat a counter. But that's kind of how things are. If you want to beat this team, then yeah, you need to take it for offense, right? And mirror match to some degree, or you use Emma Frost or what have you to outspeed them, where if you can. And that's kind of the extent, of what Cosmic Crucible is these days. It's kind of okay, it's still, I would say, more of a offense heavy game mode, because you want to make sure that you can clear all of the rooms that they might put on their defense. But it's definitely reminiscent to me of Heroes for Hire from Alliance War. Some of you may remember those days of how frustrating Heroes for Hire were on the war defense. And so now that this has kind of come full circle, but now they're giving it to us in Cosmic Crucible terms, you know, they're giving us these really incredibly frustrating Cosmic Crucible defenses that they're wanting you to just get so mad with it that you're just going to convince you to upgrade and buy new characters. And that part is disappointing because I thought that Crucible would be in some ways a little bit different. And if you guys are not really sure what I'm talking about, it really comes down to Firestar and Gwenpool's kits, specifically when you get to their passive, because it gives additional accuracy. So it's just down here at the very bottom. On Crucible offense, you get these stats, but specifically you're gaining 50% accuracy for self and the team. And Firestar has a very similar one where it's also 50%. So combining the 50% from Firestar and 50% from Gwenpool, you get 200% accuracy, which means that the charge mechanic from Spider Weaver from her charges is not really going to do anything. So you really are going to need both of the characters, I think, before this comes online. And the fact that we won't have Gwenpool for about 10, you know, by the time the patch comes around, suggests that this room rule, or they're going to create a variation of this potentially, is sticking around. And I hope not. But I think that's what's going to happen because the timing makes sense. The timing makes sense that with the league payout, which is only 12 days away now, that it's going to be sticking around, or they're not going to be changing the rooms as much as we are hoping. I hope that they do some brand new stuff to keep this fresh because I'll be honest, I get kind of bored. I don't know about you guys, and I'd love to hear your thoughts, but, you know, for me, when it comes to the new seasons of Cosmic Crucible, because we know that it's just 2 standard rooms, so really it's only 4 rooms. I get bored after a couple of weeks. You know, I get to play around with the rules, and depending on what they are, Age of X got the same way. After a couple of weeks, I got kind of bored about it. And so I wish that the seasons were not as long. I wish that they were maybe every month, maybe every 6 weeks. That way it kept things fresh, and that we'd get different rules. But now I just know that really all this is for them to funnel their new characters into, and so that we have some way either to be frustrated with them, or we buy a counter. That's all this is. You know, it's nothing more, nothing less. The only thing that we can hope for is that some of these characters are actually viable in other game modes. And you know, that's where I'm wondering going forward, right? Is like, where are we going to use the new warriors if we decide to build them? Because you know me, you know, I don't like to build characters that are just for one game mode. So are we going to get some additional value out of these characters in other game modes outside of Crucible? We're probably not going to see that in War. Are we going to see this in Raids again? I don't know, because Firestar is a mutant and Gwenpool is a mystic, though. So at least the 4 of them could be used together. But some of them are also, they're all city, essentially, other than Deathpool. I'm pretty sure I mentioned this in the blog post. So there could be some Dark Dimension 6 value, at least in the city non-legendary lane that they have there. But is that enough for us to want to build these characters? I don't know. I'm going to be probably taking a step back. I don't think I'm going to be putting any gear into Firestar, and I'm going to need to kind of wait. You know, I don't recommend anyone investing in this team as it sits right now, because I don't know what the new Cosmic Crucible season is going to look like. Are they going to maintain the exact same sort of lineup with the Tangled Web Eternals into a new room in the next season, or even keep the same room? Because that would just be downright lazy. And all that shows is that Cosmic Crucible is there to make money for them, not to actually have fun for the player base. But who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about the upcoming Cosmic Crucible season and the new additions to the new Warrior team now that I've had some time to think about it a little bit more. Otherwise, look forward to some new videos coming out pretty soon on the channel, and of course we'll have some event videos just around the corner as well. So until next time, everybody, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out.